Welcome to SS2 English Language. Today we explore one of the most rewarding skills in examination English, critical analysis of comprehension passages. In SS1 you learn to read for information and identify explicit meaning. This year we move deeper. Critical analysis means reading beneath the surface, asking not just what the writer says, but why they say it, how they say it, and what effect their choices have on the reader. In WAEC examinations, comprehension questions often carry 30 marks or more, and the highest scoring answers show genuine critical thinking, not just copying lines from the passage. By the end of this lesson you will be able to identify the writer's purpose and tone, analyze the use of language devices, evaluate the effectiveness of arguments, and write answers that go beyond surface-level retrieval. These are skills that will serve you in literature, government, and every subject that requires extended writing. Let us begin. What does it mean to analyze a passage critically? The word critical does not mean to find fault. It means to examine carefully, to ask probing questions, and to evaluate what you find. When you read critically you engage in four main activities. First, comprehension, you understand what the writer is saying at a literal level. Second, interpretation, you work out what the writer implies or suggests beyond the literal words. Third, evaluation, you judge whether the writer's claims are well supported, logical, and persuasive. Fourth, appreciation, you recognize and comment on the skill with which the writer uses language. Consider this sample sentence: the government's latest policy is a bold experiment that may yet deliver results. A surface reader takes this at face value. A critical reader notes the hedging language, may yet, which signals uncertainty despite the word bold. The writer seems cautiously optimistic but is protecting themselves from being wrong. That is critical reading. When faced with a comprehension passage in WAEC, read it twice before answering. The first reading gives you the overall picture, topic, purpose, audience. The second reading lets you notice specific word choices, structural features, and rhetorical techniques that form the basis of critical questions. Let us examine the three core areas of critical analysis. First, tone. Tone refers to the writer's attitude towards the subject and the reader. Common tones in examination passages include persuasive, where the writer wants to convince you of something, informative, where the aim is to explain, satirical, where the writer mocks or criticizes through irony, and nostalgic, where the writer looks back on the past with warmth. Identify tone through word choice, emotive language, formal versus informal register, use of first or third person. Second, purpose. Ask, why did the writer produce this text? Purposes include to argue, to describe, to narrate, to instruct, and to entertain. A passage may have multiple purposes. Third, language techniques. You must be able to identify and comment on metaphor and simile, which create vivid comparisons, personification, which gives human qualities to non-human things, repetition, which emphasizes key ideas, rhetorical questions, which engage and challenge the reader, and statistics or evidence, which lend authority. When answering critical analysis questions, never just name the technique, always explain what effect it achieves in context. For example, do not write, the writer uses a simile. Write, the writer compares the city to a sleeping giant, creating a sense of hidden power about to awaken, which makes the reader curious about what change lies ahead. Let us now look at how to turn these skills into high marks. Comprehension questions in WAEC come in two types: short answer questions and summary tasks. For short answer questions, use your own words unless the question asks you to quote. Lift and drop, copying sentences straight from the passage, scores poorly. Show understanding by paraphrasing accurately. For inference questions, those asking what is implied or suggested, state the implied meaning clearly and briefly indicate what in the passage leads you to that conclusion. For language questions, how does the writer achieve a particular effect? Use the point, evidence, explanation structure. Make your point about technique, quote the evidence, then explain the effect on the reader. Practice this discipline constantly. For summary questions, identify the main ideas only. Do not include examples, illustrations, or minor details unless specifically asked. Count the required number of points and state them clearly and concisely. Finally, proofread. A well-argued answer with grammatical errors loses marks. Accuracy in English is tested across all your answers, not just grammar questions. Review your work before moving on. Let us consolidate what we have learned today. Critical analysis means reading beneath the surface to understand purpose, tone, and language technique. The 4 activities of critical reading are comprehension, interpretation, evaluation, and appreciation. Key areas to analyze include tone, the writer's attitude, purpose, the reason for writing, and specific language techniques such as metaphor, rhetorical questions, and repetition. When answering examination questions, use your own words, apply the point evidence explanation structure for language questions, and focus only on main ideas in summary tasks. In our next lesson, we will apply these skills to essay writing, specifically formal reports and articles. Between now and then, find a newspaper editorial and practice identifying the writer's tone and purpose. Read it as a detective would, looking for clues in every word choice. That habit of mind is what distinguishes average comprehension answers from excellent ones. Well done for your attention today.